Hello everyone, this is a follow-up video to my video 90 degrees nose down, where I showed you can do this in Polaris and ITRES. Now I'm wondering if you can do the same thing in Reclaimer. I know in the past it was not possible. In the past you had to be in hover mode until you were at around 10 kilometers altitude. If you were going nose down even 50 degrees, it was a sure crash. I'm really curious if this changed for Reclaimer. I will now just lift off in hover mode. Let's see if we are moving and by how much. Now stop. My hands are off controls. Okay, she is still moving a bit. It's not me doing this, it's automatic. I guess those are supposed to be ground effects, which would be way worse in real life. This would be a massive storm, and it would be very, very loud. Now this is me. I'm now trying to get to neutral. Now again, I'm not moving a ship. It's automatic now. But she isn't moving that much. Now I try to go into flight mode and see what happens. Are we crashing? In the past, we always crashed. Okay, it's very interesting. When did CIG change this? In the past, I had to be in hover mode until around 10 kilometer altitude. This is very interesting. And why did CIG change this? This actually felt good. I don't think it's wrong that big ships have to be in hover mode until a certain altitude. Now I ask for permission to start. We can hold this in normal flight mode. We don't have to be in hover mode. Very interesting. Yeah, and this movement looks very wrong, very artificial, very comical. Going back to hover mode. Pretty much the same. It's not me moving the ship. My hands are off controls. Going back to flight mode. Yeah, CIG, why did you change this? You had a very good mechanic for big ships. Big ships had to be in hover mode until around 10 kilometer altitude. And now you changed this. You made it worse. You had something good in the past. Well, it's not exactly the first time that CIG had something good in the past and changed it. Just look at, for example, and look how this ship is starting, 600i. In totally impossible angle. Yeah, CIG had a lot of good things in the past and CIG changed them or removed them. See, for example, GrafLab, see repair drones, see landing radar, and CIG even changed Reclaimer. Okay, this was very unexpected. I didn't expect this. I thought I would still have to be in hover mode until around 10 kilometer altitude, which was perfectly fine for such a big ship. Sometimes I don't understand CIG. Not only is progress slow, but CIG also makes things worse. Why? Why remove things that worked very well we had in the past? GrafLab, repair drones, landing radar. Reclaimer had to be in hover mode until around 10 kilometer altitude. We are now roughly at an altitude of 4 kilometers. This does not mean 4 kilometers above ground, because we still don't have ground radar. I will now nose down to 90 degrees and see if we can hold this. In the past, this was a sure crash for Reclaimer. 0 meters per second. Now I'm slowly accelerating 1 meters per second. But this is silly. If I would have done this 2 years ago, I would have crashed very hard. But now it's possible. Why? Why did you remove the CIG?
Not because our physics code is terrible, and in fact, it's great.
4 meters per second. Of course, I cannot hold this. When I try to fly reverse, when I try to boost, nothing, 6 meters per second. But I have all the time in the world to do this and be safe. This is pretty much identical to Idris and Polaris in my video I did a few days ago. Now we are at an altitude of 10 kilometers. I will again nose down 90 degrees, no forward movement. Yeah, this just looks silly, and it is silly. And we are still at 0 meters per second. This is identical to my tests with Idris and Polaris. At around 4 kilometers altitude, I could put nose down 90 degrees, and both ships were slowly accelerating, like Reclaimer in this video. At 10 kilometers, Idris Polaris were stationary, and Reclaimer is stationary too. No forward movement. I can stay like this forever. I don't even need fuel. Of course, CIG said they will change this, but we already had this working for Reclaimer. You couldn't do this with Reclaimer in the past, but now you can. So why did you make it worse? Only to fix it later? Maybe. Yeah, still 0 meters per second. Let's accelerate forward and see what happens. Okay, we exploded. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye. Auf Wiedersehen. Hey, you're still here. You might want to join me on Twitter or on Blue Sky.